Jon and I have been patiently waiting for all of you.
And
I've just found out where he lives. I found out a lot about you, Jon. Okay, so this is Jon Porter. How long have you been with Matsuura now?
I've only been with the company a couple of months.
Oh, a couple of months.
A new hire, yeah.
Right, this is really exciting. So before we're going to have a tour of the additive side of Matsuura now, and I've been to their facility. It's incredible. I'll tell you more about it in a few moments' time. But before then, you're a new hire for Matsuura. Tell me why, because your background is so important here.
Well, I've had the benefit of being in the additive manufacturing sector for about 25 plus years now. So it goes all the way back to the late 90s when I was involved with James Dyson in the beginning of his business.
That's a big brand.
It's a reasonably large brand nowadays, yeah.
Yes.
And he was a very early adopter of 3D printing, but it's allowed me a sort of a gateway into the technology, and it's allowed me to stay in this sector for most of my career. And I've kind of moved into the specialism of metal 3D printing, but I've been asked to join the Matsuura business to really look at their longer-term strategic growth in this sector, because they've already made fantastic headroads into supporting and supplying product into the additive manufacturing sector here in the UK, and I think they've taken a market lead with some of the products they're selling, and it's fantastic. But I think what they recognise is that my background comes with a network, so they've essentially bought into that network, which is I'm very happy to do, because they also recognise that there are a lot of sectors and a lot of potential customers that need a little bit more nurturing, need a little bit more time to make a decision. There is risk involved in taking on additive manufacturing, and everybody understands that.
Yes.
So they need the benefit of my experience and the team's experience and the application team's experience to really capitalise on the asset they're about to invest in, understand the technology, understand the benefits, and really make the right decision for them as a business. Because what I've also seen in this sector is if you supply incorrectly, bad news travels fast.
Yes.
So if you have an adopter of the technology that hasn't been well briefed, hasn't been well trained, doesn't really understand the benefit of what they're buying, they can make mistakes.
In my opinion, what you've just taught me over the last 10 minutes, I think you're going to influence people quite heavily into this because of your knowledge and experience. Can I just ask, what is it that you feel industry needs to know about additive? Because sometimes it's a bit of confidence, would you agree or not?
It's been a bit of confidence, absolutely. The industry has been very long on promise. There's been a lot of hype around the technology. There's been a lot of suggestion about what it can achieve, but in reality, there's been a lot of instances where it's ultimately been a bit of a solution chasing a problem or trying to identify a problem. And what we're finding now, certainly within the group of the Matsuura products, is that we're getting there. We're really very close now to offering this as a solution for mass manufacturing. And that really has always been the ultimate promise of this technology.
Because a lot of people thought of it as, how would we describe it, like a prototype or exactly that. We're on the same page. And then now what you're saying is it's the users, they're producing a product that goes out to market, because we've done case studies with Matsuura, with the HP range, and we'll talk about a few of the ranges in a moment, but it's the end user product that's happening now. Is that what's happening?
It is. It's very symptomatic of what's gone in the past, is that the process will produce a lot of parts. But parts are only part of the story. We talk about products, they're much more useful, they're much more saleable. But the technology has only produced a part that ultimately needs more work, it needs more post-processing, it needs fine tolerancing to make it perform as it should. But we're now moving into a space, and I know you're going to speak to my colleague Joe in a little while, because we've got opportunity here with new technologies that actually produce parts that you can simply put in the bag and sell. Yes,
and we've seen that on camera, proven.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to take you down the stand now, because you've got some components here, but materials-wise, what are we talking about? Because we mentioned HP, but there's other brands that you represent, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you now about desktop metal.
Okay.
It's still a bit of a mystery to some people, but in reality, you can 3D print metal. It's still something that people haven't conceptually understood.
Yes.
But again, there's a lot of history in that. What we have here is a solution made by Desktop Metal.
Right.
You could argue this is a sort of a gateway to this technology. In terms of the environment this machine runs in, it's very safe, it's very easy to manage, it's very easy to have from a health and safety perspective, and to run in you don't need to necessarily run in a laboratory with all of the typical sort of restraints of powder management and all the other troublesome parts that come with the metal business.
Yeah, because, people don't, obviously, we're in manufacturing, a lot of it is, of course, subtractive, so it's new, it's unknown, but it's people having the confidence to be able to...
It's all about confidence. This technology allows you to design in a new creative way. It allows you to undertake new performance of parts, but ultimately there are risks attached to that.
But that's education.
It's education, but people do need to realise it comes with no rear view mirror. once you start to adopt and adapt this technology, you have to go forward with it. It's very difficult to go back and say, we're going to make this in a more conventional way because you've lost that opportunity, but you really shouldn't lose the opportunity to use additive. It's a wonderful process, and it's finally coming to Stom.
Jon, I feel like we're going to see you on our screens a bit more,
Maybe.
a lot more,
Maybe.
if this has been okay for you. But I think we're going to see you on our screens a lot more because I think you've got a lot to teach industry.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I totally agree as well.
Definitely. Right, I'm going to steal your microphone
Thanks,
from
Lindsay.
you now.
There
Thank
you
you
go.
for your time today.